It's election day and voter turnout is better than it's ever been for a midterm election. I'm Victoria Bailey and we hear what brought voters out coming up.
And it was a long night for a lot of folks in North Mississippi as storms ripped through, wreaking havoc in parts of Lee County. A look at some of the hardest hit neighborhoods just ahead.
WCBI News at 6 starts now.
As we just showed you, tornadoes tore through parts of the Magnolia State overnight. Thank you for joining us on this election night. One of those twisters touched down in a Saltillo neighborhood known for its stately homes and popular golf course. WCBI's Allie Martin has more from the Big Oaks subdivision.
As crews placed blue tarp over the damaged roof, workers were starting to cut up the massive oak tree that was uprooted by the tornado.
My wife woke me up and said, we've got some problems. So we got to our safe place and the house shook. We heard the glass and we heard a lot of roof shingles and a lot of splattering of the house.
The legacy oak fell into a corner of Dr. David Cole's home. Windows facing the golf course were shattered and the gas meter was damaged.
We were spewing natural gas in the neighborhood for a while.
The well-known civic leader, who is a past president of ICC, says utility companies were on the scene quickly. Once the sun came up, he was able to survey the damage in his neighbors' yards and wait on the insurance adjuster. Still, he was counting his blessings.
Just glad that the sun's shining today and that everybody's safe. Everything else can be fixed.
In Saltillo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
And Dr. Cole told us he was not sure if he and his wife would be able to stay in their home as those repairs get underway. Well, the stories of survival coming from some families that live in Tupelo are incredible. At 11 p.m. last night, a tornado tore through several neighborhoods in North Tupelo, leaving a trail of destruction. At one home in the hardest hit area, Colonial Estates, a mailbox flew through a child's nursery window. The baby was still in the room, leaving the parents understandably terrified.
My wife and I were asleep at when the storm came through. The first thing I heard was the loud corruption of the glass breaking, and I immediately jumped up and just came and checked on my daughter, I saw a mailbox first thing, and then saw a lot of glass laying on the floor. And the way that the mailbox came in, it could have easily gone into her crib, and we just honestly don't even want to think about the end result of that, if that were to happen.
Well, we're happy to report the baby did not have a scratch on her. There were no serious injuries, in fact, reported to anyone in the neighborhood. Time now to get a first look at our forecast. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Jacob Riley, who had a very, very long evening. Much quieter today, though, Jacob.
Yes, Andrea, thankfully it's been a lot quieter out there in Tupelo right now. Everything's working as normal. It's a completely different story 24 hours ago, though, but luckily things have been calmer today. We are sitting in the lower 60s to upper 50s across the area. 57 Starkville, 54 Oxford, 60 degrees there in Tupelo. Now these warm temperatures aren't going to last for long. Our next weather system is sitting right here. It's going to lift up through our area as we move through the overnight hours on in for the rest of your work week. So that rain is going to move back in for Wednesday. We're going to top out in the lower to middle 60s across the area, even maybe just a few upper 50s out there, but that's not as cold as it's going to get as we move towards this weekend. We're going to struggle to stay in the 50s, Andrea, but I'll have more on that, plus those rain chances coming up later in the show.
All right, now to the other big story we're following today, elections. Voters across the country turning out in big numbers for the midterms. One of the biggest turnouts today in Lowndes County was at the First Assembly of God Church. WCBI's Jason Hibbs joins us live in Lowndes County as the polls are getting ready to close in about an hour.
Andrea, you mentioned that big turnout at one of the polling places. Well, the circuit clerk here says it's been that way at all of the precincts across the county today. A lot of people are interested in this election, and just to give you an idea, she said there's been a 57% increase in the turnout among those absentee ballots, because that's all we have so far. Polls are still open, but among the absentees, a 57% increase from the last midterm election. Now, this is the place here behind me, just beyond that glass, where the circuit clerk's workers will be counting the numbers all night. We will be here. We will bring you the results. One race to watch is that Chancery Court District 14. You've got judges retiring for both place 2 and 3, 5 people vying for that seat. The clerk saying a lot of people are interested in that race, of course, along with the national races that we are all watching tonight. For now, I'm live in the courthouse in Jason Hibbs, WCBI News.
All right, Jason, thanks so much for that report from Lowndes County. Well, Clay County joins the rest of the area and the country with some high numbers at the polls on this midterm election. Our Victoria Bailey spent the day at a precinct there taking a look at what's drawing the crowds in this part of the Magnolia State.
Right, I'm at the Central West Point precinct where voters have been pouring in to cast their ballots. Now, I'm told by the poll workers that approximately 54 people per hour have come in to cast their vote so far. And after speaking with voters, they say there's a reason.
Now, Carroll had 85. Ceylon had 171. Northwest Point had 297. Benton has 129. West Point have 220.
And that was just at 10:45 Tuesday morning. As the day continued, Clay County Election Commission Chairman Linda Ivey says she feels the number will grow.
We believe that we're going to get about 20%, and we might go to 30 the way it's looking today. Because I think last time we got maybe about 10 at the last election, and that was very low. But we think this election is going to be very high.
Statistics show in the 2016 presidential election, more than 100 million voters cast their ballot. Clay County voters say that number is to be expected, but they are at the polls this time because Tuesday's election is just as, if not more important.
A vote for the president, that's very important, but Congress and all of that, that's where the real decision making is.
You have your right to vote, so make sure you exercise your right and let your voice be heard.
It is a high stake and it's very important, you know, for us to come together and vote.
The Bennetts have never missed voting in an election, but they say there is a different atmosphere this time at the polls.
I think it's just that there's 2 Republicans and that, you know, of the 2 that the president's backing one of them, and that's basically, I think, what's causing the excitement.
I think the biggest driver in this midterm is I think there's a significant amount in regard to those that are voting, you know, supporting President Trump and his agenda versus those that are not. So I think that has actually excited both bases, whether it's Republican or Democratic.
Ivey says don't miss your chance to cast your ballot in this election.
If you get up and work at 5, come on, just keep on coming out to vote because the polling's going to be there. We ain't going to close nobody down.
Now, if you haven't made it out to cast your ballot just yet, it's okay. The polls stay open until 7 o'clock tonight. Victoria Bailey, WCBI News, West Point.
All right, Victoria, thanks so much for that. Well, voter turnout totaled more than 900, Victoria tells us, and that was before noon in Clay County today. Well, turnout is strong throughout Lee County as well as voters there are casting their ballots in the midterms. Lee County Circuit Clerk Camille Roberts Delaney says turnout has been high at all of the precincts there. Extra ballots, in fact, and other supplies have had to be delivered to some of the polling places because of the high voter turnout. Lee County voters are helping elect the state's 2 senators along with their congressmen. There's also a host of judicial races on the ballot. 4 years ago, around 19 Lee County residents cast ballots in the general election. Well, in Oktibbeha County, the circuit clerk's office there says the turnout has been, quote, monstrous. That's the word they used with us today. They say normally midterm elections don't have as many people coming to the polls, but this year voters were lining up before the doors even opened this morning. WCBI's Riley Livingston joins us live with more on turnout in Oktibbeha County. Riley.
Andrea, I'm here at the Circuit Clerk's office here in Oktibbeha County where they tell us voter turnout has been huge. They are saying the Chancery Court judge race has had something to do with today's high turnout. Oktibbeha County is a little bit different than most. It is split up into 2 separate parts of District 14. If you were voting in District 14-1, you saw 3 Chickasaw County candidates, and you also saw Rodney Favor and Leanne Turner of Oktibbeha County. If you were voting in 14-3, you saw Roy Perkins and Paula Drungalo Ellis. Those 2 people are also from Oktibbeha County. There is less than an hour. There's an hour left to vote. We are encouraging all viewers who have not come out and vote to get out here, have your voice be heard. As you can see, there are some stragglers coming in behind me. We will have more on our election night coverage coming up. Reporting live, Riley Livingston, WCBI News.
Right, thanks so much. Monroe County voters are dropping pencils and picking up stylus pens to sign in to vote today. Monroe is one of only a few counties in our area now using new electronic poll book system. We stopped by a precinct in Prairie to catch the latest technology in action. These e-poll books have replaced the paper check-in process at registration tables. It offers a more efficient and even a faster way for voters to check in and to register to vote even on Election Day. All voter rosters are electronically loaded onto those iPads, and the system can also scan information from voters' driver's licenses.
In the past, we hadn't had a big crowd, but this morning we have had a tremendous turnout. It has been excellent. So yes, the tablet is faster and quicker.
The tablets are not connected to the ballot counting machines or its results. And we do want to remind you, for the latest results, be sure to join us on WCBI News at 9 and 10. Also WCBI.com and across all of our social media platforms. All right, coming up, tense moments after an armed robbery in Starkville overnight. A look at the dramatic video and why police need your help. Stay with us.
WCBI election coverage is brought to you by Bank First. Bank First.
Welcome back. An Alabama man is accused of multiple counts of child sex crimes in Mississippi. 57-year-old Frank David Harrison of Ethelsville was arrested Monday by Lowndes County deputies. Harrison is charged with 3 counts of sexual battery and 2 counts of child molestation, touching for lustful purposes. Back on October 11th, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office got a report from Child Protective Services alleging the abuse of 2 victims. Investigators say the alleged crime happened between the years of 2009 and 2014 when Harrison lived in Lowndes County. Both victims were under the age of 14 at the time of the alleged crime. Harrison's bond has not been set. In other news on this election day, Starkville police need your help finding out who held up workers during an armed robbery early Monday morning. This happened at the Sprint Mart on Academy Road in Starkville about 1 o'clock. It appears to the suspect appears to push one person to the floor, jump the counter, and then empty 2 cash registers. The suspect continues to talk with people in the store, warning them to stay down. If you think you recognize the person in these images, or if you have any information, contact the Starkville Police Department or Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers.
Well, today was our last warm day. Over the next several tomorrow, we will drop a good 10 degrees, 63 for your daytime high. Those rain chances will return, and I'll have the full forecast on that rain and some colder weather.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Jacob Riley.
Well, good Tuesday evening here in downtown Tupelo. It is a different story from what we saw 24 hours ago. Business has returned to usual across much of the city today, but last night we did have that tornado move through out there. Right now we are sitting in the upper 50s to lower 60s, 61 Columbus, 58 degrees here in Louisville, so it's a little chilly out tonight. We will stay in the mid 50s overnight tonight. Now, this warmer weather isn't going to last as we move later on into this week, but we did have a couple of confirmed tornadoes out there. This one here near the community of Mayhew on the line of Oktibbeha and Lowndes counties. It was confirmed as an EF0 tornado. We just received word here near Millport, Alabama. We also had a confirmed EF1 tornado out of one of the same storms that moved through Lowndes County. And up here in Tupelo, not confirmed yet, but preliminary results are indicating that this was a lower end EF2 tornado that moved through the city of Tupelo last night. Now tonight, not any severe weather to worry about. We will drop down to the lower 50s. We could have a few isolated showers begin to move in later on overnight, especially past midnight. So rain chances are going to ramp up for your Tuesday night. They're going to last on through your Wednesday as well. We will be a good 10 degrees colder tomorrow than what we were today. 62 there in Amory, 59 Houston, 59 as well there in Bruce for your daytime high on Wednesday. We're going to keep those rain chances a little higher down south across the Golden Triangle region. 66 in Carthage, 62 in Louisville. Those will remain heaviest just along and south of Highway 82. As we go throughout the rest of your day, Wednesday, those showers do move out. We're going to keep those clouds around. And then Thursday, we have another disturbance move in. And this one will provide a greater rain chance for the entire area throughout the morning hours. Is again on Thursday, lasting on throughout the early evening hours for your Thursday. As we go into this weekend, it is going to get cold, dropping down into the upper 30s across portions of the area, and that's going to keep our high temperatures cool as well. There this weekend, only topping out in the lower 50s.
Well, basketball is back and it's here to stay. Mississippi State women's basketball opens at home tonight. Here from head
WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Basketball is officially back tonight. The Mississippi State women's basketball team opens at home against Southeast Missouri to kick off the season. Yesterday, head coach Vic Schaefer spoke with the media, stating that ready or not, here this season comes.
And excited about our team and our season. Not sure we're quite ready, but doesn't matter. It's not going to wait on us, so we got to be ready. So we'll have a good workout today, getting ready for a veteran team coming in, a well-coached team in Southeast Missouri, and they're going to be a great test for us. They're really athletic. They're going to press us some and try to do some things to us defensively and dictate what we can do on offense. And so I think it'll be should be a heck of a game.
It was an exciting day yesterday for the Mississippi State women's soccer team as they earned the first bid in history to the NCAA tournament. The women's team will host Lipscomb for its first tourney appearance. The team waded through the selection show, saying they were confident but also nervous, waiting for Mississippi to be selected. The Bulldogs finished the season off with its longest win streak in school history. Well, the End Zone has officially welcomed playoff play, and it's already been crazy. Lots of great plays, but there could only be 5, and here are this week's top 5 from Week 12. Starting things off at number 5, tied at 7 here, Banks Hyde takes the ball and he just puts the Jets on, takes it all the way, no regard for human life. He's only got his eyes set on the end zone, throws the peace sign up and peace out to the haters, gets the touchdown. Heritage Academy dominating in that game. Number 4, it's Starkville now, the Yellow Jackets. The beauty from Luke Altmaier to the beast in the end zone, Rufus Harvey. Gets the Yellow Jackets on the board before they would dominate Clinton all night long. Number 3, Donovan Turner here to Dion Hickman, sends it, makes a man miss, and see you later. 70 yards into the house for the score. Nanawaya would go up 14-0 after that TD there. And it's something he's getting excited about. Number 2, Anferny Campbell, the man, the myth, gets the handoff and takes it up the middle, trucks the defender, and he gets the touchdown. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You got to truck over some defenders. It's worth it. It's high school football playoff. Number 1, South Pontotoc and North Pontotoc, our game of the week. Caden Wilson with the pick 6 there. And North Pontotoc ends up with the dub and also gets our top play from Week 12. It's that time of the week where we honor the men who keep the lights on Friday nights and for the guys who open up the lanes for running backs. It's time for our Lineman of the Week.
Tonight's Lineman of the Week is brought to you by Natchez Trace Electric Power Association, Calhoun City.
Tonight's Lineman of the Week with Calhoun City is Shane Ragon. Shane has 17 years of experience with Natchez Trace Electric Power Association. Good for Shane. WCBI's Lineman of the Week goes out to the Calhoun City Tigers, who did a remarkable job in the first round of the Division IIA playoffs last week. Currently this season, the Wildcats are averaging around 263 yards per game, and they've also had around 13 sacks on the season. Right now, they're currently averaging just a little over 1 sack per game. So the Calhoun City Wildcats doing everything to make sure that their season stays alive. Going up against the 8-4 team in the Union Yellow Jackets this upcoming Friday. So expect to see a good playoff matchup there. That's going to be it for sports. We'll have your last look at your forecast.
Well, rain is moving back in, Andrea, tonight after midnight. It will last through Friday. Then once it moves out, our temperatures take a plummet. We will see frost across portions of the area this weekend.
All right, but nothing severe like we saw last